we have one thing we need to clear up here. James and I, my producer's here, James. And a guy called in, I guess it was last week or the week before.
Yeah, I forget when.
And he gave us some stats on crime. And I guess, what happened?
Well,
I forgot.
The caller was Nathan from Cleveland, and he was trying to fact check you because we had talked about at some point that there were a lot of black on white rapes and sexual assaults, whereas there were like almost no white on black rapes and sexual assaults in 2008.
Why white men don't rape black women? Are they afraid of getting beat up?
I think it's just...
Are they afraid of getting beat up?
Right.
Because they know a black woman going to whoop your butt. Well, anyway, go ahead.
So he said that there were like 4,000 or 50-something hundred blacks who committed rape. And he was looking at this FBI table 43 from 2008. But that table is counting the arrests of number of blacks who had committed rape. And it wasn't counting the number of sexual assaults nor the number of victimizations.
Oh,
the number of victimizations is much higher than the number of arrests.
Right.
Only something like, let me look. Okay, let me just read through this a little bit.
Okay.
In reality, there were that many rape arrests. It was 5,000 something that he said. The DOJ's Bureau of Justice Statistics, which was what we used, counted the number of rape and sexual assault victimizations, which includes even the perceived race of the offender. And that includes even threats of sexual assault, like, I'm going to something dirty sexual thing.
Whatever, James. You so
there were
holy.
there were 117,640 white victims of single offender rapes and sexual assaults, and that includes all of the offenders: black, white, Hispanic, everybody.
Oh, okay.
And 16.4% of those were black, which makes 19,293 rapes and sexual assaults by blacks on white victims.
That's amazing.
And there were 46,580 black victims of single offender rape and sexual assault. 0% of offenders were white in 2008. Now, they used a small sample size, so these numbers are not that reliable.
Right.
And that's part of the excuse that Eric Holder and Barack Obama used in no longer counting interracial crime. But there are other crimes that do have a reliable statistic on, but they completely stopped counting because I think their reasoning was black on white crime is so disproportionate, and so they want to hide that fact, in my opinion. Now, 75% of victims in rapes and sexual assaults were the same race. So 75% of white victims had a white perpetrator, and 75% of black victims had a black perpetrator. But, in fact, blacks appeared 20% more likely to rape or sexually assault whites than whites were to do it against themselves.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And so that was Nathan?
Yeah, Nathan there's been a lot of blacks trying to fact check you on the black on white crime statistics.
Rather than trying to overcome it, they're trying to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Children of the lie.
And blacks are actually more than twice as likely to rape one another or sexually assault one another than whites are to do that to one another. I think they're 3 times as likely overall to commit rape or sexual assault.
That's why I say that there is no such thing as racism. It's the destruction of the family and the lack of moral character.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, well, thank you for that, man.
You're welcome.
Hopefully Nathan will hear it and go sit down.
And then the blacks try to bring up child abuse, sexual child abuse.
Right.
But there is a lot of underreporting in black and Hispanic communities where it's just not reported about.
Yeah.
So those numbers are undercounted, and they want to ignore that fact too. Which Ann Coulter has brought up a lot in her book about immigration,
Right.
where the quality of these crimes that the Hispanics, the illegals in particular, are committing are just evil.
Such a sad way to live. Hopefully one day blacks will wake up. Not all, not all, not all, but most. Good reporting.
Yeah.
Good reporting. You mentioned Eric Holder and Barack Obama. Where are they now?
Eric Holder is out trying to make waves, and so is Barack Obama.
I rest my case. So they're gone.
They're trying to make a difference.
I know they're trying to gear up for the next election. And Barack and Hillary getting back together and trying to do something too.
Really?
Yeah. I read that or saw it somewhere where they're trying to, fire up the people. Hopefully they can get back in power in the next election. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
But you know what? What's wrong with a little hope?
One last thing I forgot to mention
Yep.
was that arrests, blacks get away with a lot more crime, which means that blacks suffer a lot more crime that is unpunished.
Yep.
Because like in Chicago, the murder clearance rate is 25%. So it dips as low as 25%, which means 3 out of 4 get away with it.
Wow. No wonder blacks are not getting better.
Yeah.
They are hiding all their stuff. They're not facing it and overcoming it.
Yep.
And then they have these godless liberals out there, the children of the lie, who are supporting them and hiding it and not making these folks be responsible for themselves and their actions.
It's just like what you were saying with this SB 10 thing
Yep.
in California, where they're trying to let people out of jail with no bail.
Right.
It's making the innocent blacks suffer and
Yep.
innocent Hispanics suffer.
It breaks my heart, too, to know that, because there are so many good black folks stuck in those communities who can't afford to move, and they have to endure all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they are enduring stuff where their so-called leaders are dumping on them, and they still vote for these people.
Yeah.
The good blacks still vote for them, not realizing that it's their leadership who is keeping them in this hell that they live in.
Yeah.
Talk about being blind. Amazing stuff, James.
Yeah.
You're something else.